Yeah. Gotta turn that off. I guess this is Unit 26, Writing Copy. Apparently it's Assessment 1, or Assignment 1, but it's the second one we were given. My understanding of a copywriter is that they are essentially just a writer, and I'm going to take these out. I'm probably going to be rambling quite a lot about copywriting, but the whole, basically, to become a copywriter, a writer, you need to be able to advertise stuff, be able to have different skills needed for different areas, and you can go into a bunch of different areas. For instance, you can go into advertising and marketing, and to do that, it was pretty much you just sell something. You've got to be very persuasive. You aim at the target audience quite a lot of the time. I'm sorry, I'm literally just kind of looking at the brief. I've literally got the brief in front of me. It's like kind of hard. So basically, you need to be able to kind of be very, very credible with your work. So when you're advertising something, you need to make sure that, let's say it's, I guess if you are advertising medication, so there is a medication, Voltarol, that was given out to patients with, well, basically it was a painkiller, and there was the Voltarol you could buy in the shops, which is a more diluted version of diclofenac, and the company that created, well, diclofenac, basically, diclofenac sodium is the chemical formula, and when advertising, when people give them, when the doctors give the patients the medication, you don't state that within said medication you can be harmed, you can end up with sort of kidney issues, liver issues. They didn't say that it was to take away the pain, and a lot of the time it worked, but there were a few cases where a lot of side effects, and sort of when you're advertising something, you've got to make sure that people, that it doesn't kind of go against the company in a way. My hair's all messed up, that look horrible. So if you're advertising a toy around Christmas time, like now, there is a lot of advertisements going towards children because it is Christmas time. They're going to want to beg their parents, they're going to want to ask Father Christmas for said toys, and they're going to be going, oh, mummy, I want this, I want this, I want this. And the advertiser's job is to ensure that the company sell the toys. So you end up with lots of adverts with very persuasive talking towards the children because they are the target audience. And in a few years' time, you will end up with these kids will be going, well, why did I want this? If we take Lalaloopsy, for instance, the advertisers for Lalaloopsy, they created something of which it was, they actually created a jingle that was quite, well, annoying, but it caught in everybody's heads. No, I've said it. I've actually got to go around my head now. It stayed in everyone's heads, and it went on a loop, and you ended up with what people call an earworm, and it'll go around in your head, and the kids would be going, "Mum, I want Lala Lucy." You have no idea why. It was a doll. It was a doll. You can buy a doll from anywhere, and they beg the parents for them for a doll, and people now are like, well, why did we buy that? It's because the advertisers were very persuasive. They did something that made you think about it all the time. Much like a lovely case of, if you've ever listened to music, you'll have, I think it's Britney Spears. No, not Britney. I think it's Britney Spears, I'm not sure. But can't get you out of my head. I don't know if that's Britney Spears. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. Online, you've got to be able to write a blog. Also, you can get a job in social media. And no matter what you do, blogs, social media, SEO, which is search engine optimization, you've got to have a basic understanding of everything. When you're writing a blog, you have to be able to write to the general public, and write very concisely. Sometimes you have to be very, very formal in what you say. So I'm literally just resting my camera on my computer, just so I can reference things. When it comes to online writing and social media, the best example I can think of is West Ham United, and I am actually going onto their Twitter page right now, so that is a clear reference. Twitter.com. So yeah, I'm referencing Twitter.com. I have to actually find the official West Ham United Twitter page. There we go. Twitter.com/West Ham United UTD. It's a verified account, and they have 81.2 thousand tweets and 1.35 million followers. And they only follow 231 people. So their latest tweets, they tweet constantly. They retweet things. So if I just look at the tweets itself, you can see that, sorry, my computer's being extremely slow at the minute, that 4 hours ago was their latest post, and with a picture of Aaron Cresswell, number 3, booting the ball against the Arsenal fans, against Arsenal. 5 hours ago, they posted a video, shared a video, and again, to share a link, they are constantly posting. 6 hours ago, they posted. 7 hours ago, with a picture of Marko Arnautovic. I think that was 8 hours ago. Yep, 8 hours ago, with pictures of the London derby from last night. 9 hours ago with Michael Antonio, Aaron Cresswell, and Mark Noble, and I don't know who Steve-O the Madman is. But they are posting almost every single hour. They post on Snapchat as well, and also on Instagram constantly. They're online. Their social media self is very, very pushing. They aim towards their fans, and their fans are anywhere from the age of sort of 4 or 5, all the way up to sort of 70, 80. I mean, I think David Sullivan, one of the co-owners, I think he is 68. One of my friends has been a fan since he was like 5 years old. So yeah, West Ham cater to everyone, and they very much show this within their social media. You can Google. This is now coming on to the search engine optimization. If you Google, I'm going to completely come off of West Ham. Well, yeah. If you Google Cadbury's chocolate. So I've just Googled Cadbury's chocolate. The first thing that comes up, we have a few sponsored ads to do with chocolate gift towers, hot chocolate, House of Fraser. These are all sponsored ads. The first one on there properly is cadburys.co.uk chocolate. You can Google, so if we put up second-hand iPhones, if I can spell correctly, the first thing that will come up with is Google and what Google has been selling. Well, it did. Apparently, Google have changed their layout now. So it did come up with that a second ago. Now it's come up with refurbished second-hand iPhone by quickmobilefix.com. And to go down, we've got refurbished iPhones by carphonewarehouse.com, best mobile phone offers, mobiles.co.uk, EE iPhones, Gumtree, ukxmasdeals.com, envirophone.com, Macworld, Carphone Warehouse, Quick Mobile Fix, Amazon, Carphone Warehouse, Smartphone Store, Mobiles, GiveGaff, EE, Gumtree. So basically, because the fact that you have put in something, a keyword, if I wanted to Google something, say I want to Google something very specific and I want to find out about the Samsung A5. Now I'm only saying this because this is the phone I'm getting on Monday. The first thing it will come up with is, well, it's changed about 3 times in the last 30 seconds. Samsung Galaxy A5 on EE. And then the second one is the Samsung A5 on Amazon. And you get mobile accessories, then on Samsung itself. It will tell you everything that you need to know about it. And you'll get multiple because you have literally written a keyword. As for blogs, I have, you can have several blogs. I've just Googled the words blogs online. Blogging is actually quite hard per se because sometimes you can share your link, sometimes it can be a private blog, sometimes it can be an open blog, and depending on what you are writing for will depend on whether what style you are writing for. So I help my best friend with his university work, and so he's given me the link to his blog. And for his blog, it's literally a link, and the style of his writing is tutorials. He does how he did something. So his latest blog is rendering finale animation. I think he's supposed to say final. I really need to check all this. And he said, to start with, I set up the rendering settings like so, with an image. And so next I added ambient light to the middle of the scene, a directional light over the side of the scene, the first camera over the right-hand stylus row. So basically, he's saying step by step what he did to create a certain image. For my own personal blog, I have quite a few. I have quite a few different blogs. And so, sorry, I just got to log back in so I can see my blog. Right, for my first blog, it's a personal one. So my first blog, I write like a diary. So I write for myself, and basically each diary entry will be how I feel on that particular day, what's happened, has anything happened specially. So that is literally for no one. The target audience is myself, so I can go back in years to come and I can see exactly what's going on. However, I have a few other blogs, one of which is articles that I have written. One, I have one uploaded so far. I have yet to upload anymore. So it was an update I did on a YouTuber called Fatal LG, and I had done a little bit of an update on since the last time I had an interview with him. So I gave the bit of a lowdown on what had happened since different things, and I aimed it at people who were people who liked his vlog. And so the target audience there was people who enjoyed West Ham, people who enjoyed watching his YouTube videos, and people who like reading my articles. And the third vlog that I will share is my A-level vlog. Now this one is very similar to my best friend's in the sense that I had to spell out how I did something, whether this is my AS media, so whether I'd done what I had done regarding certain parts of my coursework, which I had to create a magazine, so double page spread, contents and front cover. So I said what I had done regarding the double page spread, the contents and the front cover, and I'd sent out surveys, and so I basically spelt out everything and said how I did that, how I got here, and certain things. And for blogs, you really do need to be who you're aiming it for. You also have things like BuzzFeed, which are kind of like a blog based online media type thing. Government. Well, the government is actually quite hard to kind of get your head around. Basically, the government we have something well, this covers two things. The government have created to work at the government, working in journalism, to work at the government, you have to be able to get your timings absolutely perfect. And one of the examples of this is of late. The UK government confirmed the benefits changed just after the royal engagement was announced. So if you announce something, one of the timing issues they have is if you announce something, it can happen straight after a huge announcement elsewhere, and it can just slide underneath. People will not take any notice. So with the royal engagement with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, that was announced, and the whole world went crazy, nuts, because, well, Prince Harry is officially off the market, and we are all dying because, well, heartthrob. However, less than 20 minutes later, and my reference here is ladbible.com, about 20 minutes later, after the engagement news, a press release was circulated confirming a policy that will freeze working age benefits for 4 years. So nobody noticed because everyone was focused on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. According to the Mirror, they have had the day November 27th in their diaries for months as the day to announce the policy, but the timing was just a little bit, and I believe there was a press release about it, but I can't for the life of me find it. When working for the government, timing is not just everything. You have to be prepared to keep government secrets before they are ready to be announced. Sorry, it's like midnight. I'm tired. When we go into press releases, and one press release was regarding the child Ricky Neve, who got murdered in 1994 in Peterborough. Drawing a blank. I know. I can't remember where he lived. He was murdered in Peterborough. He lived in Peterborough. And Ruth Neve, Ricky Neve's mother, was actually prosecuted for, I think she was in jail for 7 years for neglect. So she has come out of jail, and she has been she has actually been in and she's come back out, and she's begged to reopen the case 20 years later. No, 20... Yeah, she started in 2014, I think. It's a bit of a coincidence. And the Cambs Times actually did a press release. I haven't got the exact press release. I have a press release written. Oh no, it was reopened in June of 2015. She started asking for it in 2014, but it was reopened in 2015, so 21 years later. So I have a article. It's the Cambs Times. Is my reference, and their press release regarding a suspect. This is back in 2016, but there was a suspect called James Watson, and he was 13 at the time, and he is the suspect. Haven't got a clue why he's 13, but whatever. And in December 2016, he was he had to remain in prison. However, he was on bail. This was simply because of the fact that he'd skipped out on his bail and went to Portugal, I think it was, and taunted the police with selfies, which was beyond stupid. I have no idea why he did this, because that is beyond stupid, just absolutely ridiculous. A press release has to be interesting and have lots of detail, and both government and press releases, they have to be very, very formal, sometimes very persuasive as well. Final thing you need to do is to be able to write a blurb. Blurb often happens on the back of a book, back of textbooks, and it's just a short summary of what the book is actually about. And I'm actually trying to get my computer to work, but my computer is not working very well. For the blurb example, I shall use this packet of biscuits. I don't have a book handy, but these are Fox's Melts Viennese chocolate. See, I wouldn't know what these are, but it says luxurious buttery biscuits with a real chocolate centre. See, you know what that is because it tells you, and it's a short summary about what it is. Trying to read. It's writing is used in different media sectors. I've already done that. So, one of the things that above the line advertising would be TV, film, interactive media, radio, and posters for branding and marketing. And these lists, the list of those 5, above the line would be sort of the unconventional print media type things. So sort of like TV adverts, adverts to do with films, sort of like trailers. Interactive media would be to do with sort of, not an advert for a game really. They have demos on your phone now, so when you're playing a game, you have a demo. Introduce you. Radio, well, that one really speaks for itself. You listen to the radio, you have someone speaking and giving you an advert. And posters for branding and marketing, I guess that one would come under, well, it's a poster. It speaks for itself. But within these, you have to be very careful. You have to understand the social and cultural you have to understand sort of why you can't say certain things. So if you're on TV and you're creating a TV advert, you can't say something and make it sound racist. And you can't base something and then say, oh, well, it's good because it's not black, because that is extremely racist and you can't say that. And you have to also be aware of sort of where your advert is being published. It doesn't matter what it is, you have to be very, very careful along these lines, but any of that. That also comes in sort of the protected characteristics. You have to be careful. You can't discriminate against race, gender, disability, religious beliefs, and sexuality. A lot of things do. A lot of people are very sexist. They discriminate against religious beliefs. So sort of if you're Christian, you can't be Muslim, you can't be this, you can't be that. And especially in America today, you can't... When Donald Trump was running for being president, he often said about... he was very, very sexist in his campaign, and he discriminated a lot against Muslims, of people who live in Mexico. So that comes off sexuality, religious beliefs, and race, and gender. Well, no, sexuality, he doesn't really like gay people. And disability, he mocked someone who was on a wheelchair, who was at his rally because they supported him, and he mocked them. he has been an unfair representation, and he really doesn't care about people. I am putting far too much of my opinion into this, which I really should not do as a journalist. However, he doesn't. During that entire campaign, the examples given to us were of someone who was being unfair. He was mocking a lot of people who didn't come under his certain demographic, people he wanted to be a Republican. When you are doing below the line advertising, sort of brochures and leaflets and mail shots to companies and individuals, should be kind of posted letters type things advertising certain things, you have to make sure that you're not, again, making sure that you're maintaining the awareness of social and cultural differences, and also protecting race, gender, disability, religious beliefs and sexuality. You have also got to make sure that you are not sort of breaking the contempt of court as well. If you are advertising something to do with court, you have to make sure that you do not mention anybody's name, especially if they are a minor, or if they are sort of within Peterborough, if they go from youth court to Crown Court. If you are advertising something or you're writing about something that's happened at Crown Court and they have said specifically, this person cannot be named, this person cannot have anyone leading to the identity of this person, then you cannot, under any circumstances, break that, because you can be prosecuted. Also, if you break copyright, you can be prosecuted. Confidentiality agreements, if you break that unless it is specifically stated, we will break this if we have to, then you can be prosecuted. When writing and advertising, you have to be very, very careful about what you write, because otherwise you can, when being a writer, you have to make sure that you don't break so many rules. And ethics, really, the code of ethics, privacy, intrusion, harassment. You are not allowed to break into anybody's house for a story, or sort of like, if you want a story, would you really go and harass someone for it? Would you constantly kind of beg someone, oh, I would want to do this, I really want to, oh, can you please give me your statement on this? That is actually breaking your ethical constraints. Especially when we use the royal family, they actually brought out a law. We think that I think that it was until sort of their 18th birthday, but they brought out a law to protect Prince Harry and Prince William from the press. The press were not allowed to bug them at all during their life until sort of their 18th birthday, because of the fact that they wanted their own childhood.